It's like starting over new again. So if I act crazy, it's, well, because I am. And then this binder clip is making me even more crazy. But we're gonna get through this. I can do this with this binder clip. There we go. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. So I was saying I've been out for a month and I've missed everybody. I not only did 2 readings, but I'm still attached to everyone. So I've missed you all, and I'm actually had a photo session today for my own book, round 2. And so I just got back from that and I'm still in my gown, and I had to stand in the lake, and so my gown is velvet and it's actually wet. And as much as I paid for the dress, I was like, whatever, I'm going to wear it for the live. So when you see my book, if you decide to check it out, this is the dress. Okay, I think we are good to go. And I am going to go ahead and bring my co-host, who I absolutely adore, Emerson, in. So Emerson, I hope you're ready and you have your water.
Yo.
Yeah, I feel so much better. I hate talking to myself. It's so weird.
You do it so well, though. Clearly, you have lots of practice.
I must have. All day long when I'm like, what was I doing? What was I doing?
Yeah, I've reached that. So when my daughter was 8, she looked up at me. This is a long time ago. I'm talking over a decade. She looked up and she goes, "Dad, I can see through your hair." And I thought, fuck, that's it. My life's over.
Don't you love kids?
Yeah.
That's why when
Anyway,
Mike went off to college, I just turned his room into a craft room.
I bet she appreciates that when he comes back.
He did. He came back and he was like, seriously? I thought you were going to do like Zumba in here. You've got a flower shop going on. And I was like, hey, I just want you to get your education. That's all.
I'm getting my creative on. That's right. Exactly.
Exactly. So, yeah. Hello, everyone.
Yo, everyone.
Happy Sunday. Fun day.
Definitely Sunday. This is my pretty face. This is my I've slept lots face.
Oh my God. So I'm exhausted, tired. I don't know, Emerson, if you heard me say this. If not, act like it's the first time. Like, oh, shit. Yeah. So
No.
I don't go out much anymore. And one of my girlfriends.
Why not?
I'm old with kids.
Excuse me. That's no excuse.
Okay, I'm 43 and I'm tired.
I'm 43 and I'm tired, but there's still no excuse.
I know. Okay, I don't know what my excuse is. But we went out to this concert and it wasn't great. And so it was like 3 hours long and it ended and that song Funky Comedia came on. And I was like, I'm going to dance now. And so I danced for 3 hours in high heel boots. And I didn't get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the next night, last night we had a Christmas party. And I didn't get home till 11. And then I had to make a bunch of props for the photo shoot. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, but that's not going out. 3 a.m. is pretty impressive.
I was proud of myself. I went to Waffle House.
You were at Waffle House at 3 a.m.
That's what you do.
In England, it's you go to a kebab shop.
Ah, I see. Well, I had
nothing so civilized as a waffle. It's more of a slab of meat in a pita bread that you just
Oh,
kind of try not pour down your shirt as you eat and walk down the street or weave
oh,
down the street.
uh,
That's basically the
steak is my favorite vegetable.
you
So
know,
that sounds.
chocolate's my favorite fruit.
We got see. This is why we do good together.
I
Not
agree.
I think so. Okay, so I think what we should do is read some poetry now.
We have a lot of poetry to get through.
Yes, we do, but we've got this.
It's
Okay.
all good. Not complaining. I'm just saying there's a lot of poetry. So who goes first?
Let's see. Oh yes, you have. Oh, you have Denny's on the West Coast. Yes, I love Denny's. We used to have them out here. Fantastic food. Now we just got the Waffle House.
I have a Denny's horror story, but it's not suitable for the airwaves.
Oh, okay. Well, after
Later.
later. Okay, so you know what, Emerson? I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
I know.
The first poem I'm going to read is by a writer called Sinister Trance. The real person's real name is Rhea, and I really hope I pronounced the name properly. The notes alongside the poem, which is called Shades of Time, is to life's only constants apart from change. Dear Mama and Papa, I might have hated you in fits of my foolish adolescence, but slowly sailing through the rough waters of life, I know that you will be the only oar that will take me safe and dry to the other side. Always and forever, I love you. So this is dedicated to the parents.
Ah,
Or the friends she calls Mama and Papa. I'm not making assumptions here, but let's assume it's parents.
there we go.
It's called Shades of Time. Under halogen Tuscan lights, seamlessly scaling miles, before I tasted the ways of life, I saw smiles, two solicitous smiles, mocha voluble eyes gazing at my foolishly curled fingers with unexplainable glee, weaving a rhapsody of protective promises and strings of crimson love around me. Before my artless language talked in words and annotations, you facilely read through the garnet syllables of my actions. Be it abysmal fall or just the one for my first steps beneath the Mediterranean horizon, two pairs of cogent hands, always stretched to pull me up without doubt or reason. One soot of a mistake, one dark lie, a sable downfall, another black spot. Still, your sheet of belief on me stays pearl white without a speckle or dot. Despite the chaffling moves, I do not know why, I do not understand how. The mint of your uncomplaining and implacable patience embraced me then, embraces me now. Even with an albatross around my neck and a frozen heart, I know I can come home to you. For your tangerine dawn to melt my emotional snow. Whenever I stand at a fork road, lost in the mahogany woods, all scared and blue, you become my compass. Take me riding on a pumpkin's coat shell, spelling my every wish true. I see you the closest to my storms and the farthest, proudly lauding my rainbows. You have joined my broken pieces, drawn my constellation, taught me sailing through highs and lows, leaving your wishes behind and living in mine, hugging me tight and painting me with all these shades of time. A little after I have tasted the ways of life, I still see smiles, the two same solicitous smiles, still weaving a rhapsody of protective promises and strings of crimson love around me. It was beautiful.
Oh wow.
It was really beautiful. It's a beautiful ode to parents. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Parenting is so hard. It really is. And that it's so beautiful that because I for myself, I didn't always appreciate the hard work that my parents did, and I had a really hard time finding forgiveness for a lot of things. But as I've gotten older and realized how hard it is to raise kids, well, first I feel sorry for my parents, but second, you just appreciate them so much more. And I really think kids should come with some kind of instruction manuals. Seriously.
Destruction or instruction?
Both. 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 We should have both of those accessible. I love
I
that.
agree.
I
Me
love it.
too.
That was so eloquent written. And yeah, every parent, every child. you always hope that your children eventually will come back and appreciate the things that you do. That's one thing that I always tell my kids, like, look, I'm learning with you, and sometimes I screw up. I mean, like every once in a while, since you're born twice. That's it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I really like that poem. It's beautiful.
Me too. Very much so. I like the use of colors and flavors. Sable downfall, the soot of a mistake, pearl white. I
Sinister
just,
Red is beautiful.
it's really garnet, like a lot of colors, but very strong colors that make you feel.
Yes, I like when people use colors in their poetry because sometimes I have to go look and go, well, what does this mean? I mean, blue, we know, but I always love that. Um,
Yep.
love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, well,
Here go.
my turn. Okay, so on this poet's tag is Osmosis Poetry, which I really love that name. And there's actually not a whole lot on the page about this poet. Um, she's fairly new, um, 21 posts, and the one I'm about to read to you. Oh my gosh! If y'all are not following Osmosis Poetry, go out there and follow because she is amazing. Um, so I'm gonna read, and this one's untitled, so we will have to. We're just gonna go with this. So it says, the landscape of memory lies in a civilization of the past, grasping a moment that is lost. Like the setting sun that leaves a cold night behind, nostalgia spreads like a yellow disease and a monster that lives within you, that only you are friends with, smiles? History is dead, isn't it? Why read it? Sure, things happened before you were born, but how does that affect your life now? Embroideries are pretty, but who spends all their time embroidering? The primitive person is not a VR simulation that is fun or a representative of you. And so you forgot. But does history reside in ancient empires alone? And is there really a difference between 2 and 200 years traced back in time? Isn't it a game of disappearance? And every moment you breathe, you disappear too, like a cigarette slowly being ashed. And then, if you extinguish, as you must, your perception, or is that a living thing, will stitch itself into the endless embroidery as you try to communicate. Shout from one end of the hall to the other with your own self. A memory presents itself, refusing to alter, refusing to leave. You claim that the material extension that you see is your place, but your eyes are dewdrops on grass, looking back at the grasslands that you cannot unsee yet. It is so quiet in this moment.
It's like taking a breath and holding it.
Yeah. So obviously this is about memories and sort of, it's like I'm having a moment here.
You
This
have a moment, it's okay.
this poem really touches my heart because I think we all wonder, we talk about embroidery, meaning like it takes so much time to have to go through that process. And then you wonder, like, what was it for? What is your purpose? And, it,
I've sorry.
no, no, go
Well,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I love the end, the last line where it says, but your eyes are dewdrops on grass, looking back at a grassland that you cannot unsee yet. It is so quiet in this moment. So like a moment of reflection back to a memory. I love this. I love this. I love this because I really, my one of my passions is stop people, stop wasting your seconds. Like we are only guaranteed so many, and people waste so much time in jobs that they don't like, in relationships that they don't enjoy, and these are your moments. And this poem reminds you of that. When you have that quiet time to think back, you want to think back on good reflections, not on things that were your own stupidity for not changing them. You know.
Agreed. Agreed. And if you do have an experience, good or bad, it stays with you forever. So a lot like the embroidery, we embroider our lives with the memories of what we have done and what we haven't done, and we can look back at that, but we can't change it. So it's there.
So once it's done, it's done. You can't repeat. You
Well, you
can't
can
go back.
revisit.
You
You can
can't go back
revisit,
and
but you
rewind.
can't undo it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can't rewind. And so, and that's also another reminder of how we are as human beings to each other. You know,
Yeah.
like it's sad sometimes how mean people. I was actually in a clothing store this week, and the customer service called me a B, and I was like, oh my god. So instead of being mad at her, I took her flowers and chocolate, and I told her, I was like, whatever has stolen your joy, it's not worth it. It's really
That's
not.
really sweet. That's a great response.
Yeah. Never let someone steal your joy. And joy only you can give away.
It's true.
It can't be stolen. So,
That's very true.
yeah. I really love this. I really love this poem. It's so beautiful. The difference between 2 and 200 years. The difference between 2 seconds ago and a second ago. Can mean
Yeah.
life can happen in a blink.
It's very true. We only have right now.
Yeah, and I think if we all started to realize that our seconds are gifts to us, we wouldn't waste them so foolishly.
Very, very true. Oh, I see it as even more, I don't know, frustrating, but more meaningful that those we like spending time with, we can sit and be silent with them, and it's worth a million words from someone else, right? So
Yeah,
it's not even an experience. It's the presence of being around people that you care about. And like you could just sit there next to them for hours being silent, and it's worth, years of anything else.
yeah, and it's okay. Those are the best relationships when you don't have to say anything at all.
It's very true.
And even better when like even with your close friends, that you can just be so down and out, and they will, that person that sits with you in silence, but knows
Yeah.
every single thing that you're thinking. I love that.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah, great poem. Great poem.
Beautiful.
Yes. So
My,
definitely, if you are not following Osmosis, she's off to a phenomenal start. Just look at her page; she's brilliant. If you're not following her, I would check her out. Absolutely.
definitely will. I will. I think everyone should. So, my next one is called, well, it's not got a name, but it's by a person named Helium Poetry. That's helium.poetry. The note they put next to the poem is, "This piece of work is so close to my heart. I wrote this with tears of happiness and thankfulness rolling through my eyes. There were moments when I sat in a room so dark, listening to songs which made me sad, just to feel something, just to stop running from myself towards God knows what. I felt like I would never reach. You would know if you've ever been silent beach. Sorry. You would know if you've ever been to a silent beach. It feels like you are so near, yet so far. You feel the fear of being left behind and the fear of going too far. But besides all of that, I couldn't stop chasing the horizon, surfing through the waves. And the next thing I remember, through the water, was your face."
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
You can feel the loss.
Yeah, it's palpable. That's beautiful. I was actually trying to find it on the page because there was a line I wanted to quote back.
Well, I like, I couldn't stop chasing the horizon.
Yes.
And then the next thing I remember through the water was your face. I just love the closing.
Yeah. Well,
It,
and
it hits you in the gut.
it does, and it's like they're not giving up, and no matter how far that horizon feels, they're still there. You know, they're still going after it. That one kind of leaves you speechless.
It does.
Really, that was really beautiful. Um, Gosh, I don't. it's pretty rare that I can't think of anything to say because I'm so speechless because I never shut up. That was really good. Really beautiful.
I like the imagery of sitting in a room. I mean, everyone's sat in a dark room listening to sad songs because they feel lost. So that's kind of what the feeling is. It's like running away from yourself and then realizing you just gotta feel it.
Yeah, I think we've all been there where you're just, you know, you wake up one day and you're like, I don't even know who I am. I don't. And that
Totally.
journey back to finding yourself is sort of like that chasing horizon. You gotta figure out who you are. And I think that's so significant too. Like when you're in relationships, especially when you're young and get in a relationship, people forget that you grow as a person, hopefully, and you should be growing as a person, and that you're going to grow differently. Um, and it takes a lot of hard work, you know, to stay together with someone because you don't anticipate that your career might change, your health might change, those sort of things. And I really
Very
think
true.
we always have those moments where we go, I don't know who the hell I am. I really don't. Yeah, I had that when I was 35. I didn't know who I was. So I went to the Grand Canyon and hiked across it. Lots of blisters. Still didn't know who the hell I was.
Well, you were you with blisters. I think you figured out you like the Grand Canyon now, right?
I do. I hike there. I've been hiking for 8 years. There's a huge story behind that. We don't have time for that, but yeah, Grand Canyon literally saved my life. Literally, really, because it's at that moment where you're looking over the edge and you're thinking, "Do I? Why am I here?" And it was there on an edge, a place called Plateau Point, where I found my reasons. So beautiful, beautiful.
You reached your plateau on Plateau Point.
I did. And then when I made it to the top, back up 7 miles, I was like, I'm a hell of a lot stronger than I ever knew that I was. Come on, world, let's do this. Let's write some poetry. So that's what I did.
That's great.
So hello, everyone who's joined us. We're so glad that you're here. Appreciate it so much. Okay, so the next piece that I'm going to read is called, it's by poet The Bird Send My Soul. And did I say that right? I think so, yes. It's written by H.J. Winters. So their tagline is The Bird Send My Soul. And again, there's not much on the page. So I'll go straight into reading this because this will definitely be something we'll talk about. This one's really good. I really like this one. So okay, ready, set. It says, "You can't wait for him. As much as your heart wants him, as much as your soul told you that you have spent lifetimes together with him, and here you are meeting again. As much as your mind is reminding you of all the things you have in common in the extreme energy which lights up your blood whenever you stand close to him and laugh at all the stupid things you both have to say. You can't wait for him, even if he feels the same. He doesn't have it in him to walk away from everything which he has fabricated and the future dreams of the others he holds. Regardless of the perfecto realm the two of you can size, he doesn't wish to set the infernos to the kingdom he has with her. Let him go into the sea now. Let the ocean take him away. Move on, ride far. It is, if it is as your soul knows it is, you will meet again in the next life. But in this life, you two are not going to be. Such painful words, such bloody truth. I still don't believe it. I believe we could work. Of course, you're not going to believe it. It's only been a week one of your soul learning the truth, which makes your heart feel it's been poisoned. And with this proof, it's the case your heart has been poisoned. What do I do? Keep reminding yourself that she belongs to him and he belongs to her. He may flirt with you, he may admire you more, but it isn't going to set a flame alight. He won't give up a single thing for you, let alone her. He isn't your twin flame. He isn't your soulmate. He's someone who you were to meet in this life, someone who would spark a connection, but someone who is best walking away from. I still don't believe it. I know. It's impossible for your heart to start bleeding for him without first bleeding out for months.
That sounds like someone talking to themselves. It's like an internal argument,
Yeah.
like a wiser self talking to the passionate personality.
Yeah. Well, and so, with social media now and being able to connect with old friends and old lovers, I think that this is something that happens far more often, where you reconnect with someone and you think, oh my gosh, did I marry the right person? I've weaved this life together. And you think out to yourself, like, could it possibly be? I remember when we were in high school and it was such love.
Shh, that's our secret. That's our secret. Stop giving away secrets.
I meant
We don't know each other.
we don't.
Stop.
But
That's how
I
you
mean,
spread rumors.
how can I forget all like necking you did?
You get chills, chills.
I'm trying. But in here they say, let it go. Let them go. And it's only gonna be painful because eventually it's gonna end. And what devastation are you gonna leave in that path?
I like also the fact that it's not a lot of people when they talk to someone else they lecture or they're judgmental or they're harsh or for whatever reason, and it's clearly someone talking to themselves because they're being very compassionate and very understanding and repeating themselves. So it's a level of empathy that people like in families have or really close friends or with themselves, if they're
Yes.
paying attention. And it's
Because
really interesting. It's like an internal conversation.
yeah. Because if it wasn't internal, someone that loved you, like they'd be like, "Oh, you are a home wrecker. What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
Way too nice for here, but I it's so easy how conversation, especially on social media, um, the flirty, the can get out of hand so quickly before you even realize what has happened. And so,
I agree, but I think also what's amazing is when you do meet up with people that you knew before, it's actually really nice because there's no it's like being around family because there's no bullshit, there's no pretense. You're just comfortable being around them and hanging out, and it's quite nice. It's like when you meet new people, there's all this work to be done to sell yourself and explain who you are and hide the bad stuff and show the good stuff and all this bullshit. And when you around family or really good friends or people you were with before, if they're in a normal state and you guys have moved on in a healthy way, it's quite nice because there's no bullshit.
yeah,
It's
nice.
cathartic.
Yeah, it is. It's also very dangerous in some situations too, because
You're
as
just a
much
naughty lady. You're just a
I
naughty
mean,
lady. You're a
I
naughty lady.
I know, but I've seen, I know. But after you've been married for so long, you think the butterflies are gone. and you have someone that comes in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're beautiful," and those butterflies, you're like, "Oh, what was that? I forgot about that." You know,
Yeah, it's very true.
you realize like you can have those butterflies with your love. You just have to work at it.
It's very true.
The grass, I always say the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, but the hell with it when you got to start cutting it and paying for lawn service.
The grass isn't greener because everyone pours the same shit on it.
I'm telling you, you pay a bill, and next thing you know, those butterflies are like, "What the heck?
It's very
I don't
true.
need those. Don't need those."
No. So my next poem, well, not my poem. The next poem I'm going to read is by Lena is Writing. And thank you, Lena, for an unnamed and unfinished poem. So here we go. Lena's Writing's quote alongside the poem is Lena's Writing. Here's an unnamed, unfinished poem because I don't know. I'm having a bit of creative crisis at the moment. Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe it's doomed forever. I originally went with my actual birthday there, but then changed to a random date. Who knows? So obviously she's really, clear, concise, knows exactly what she wants out of life. Don't want to stand in Lena's way. Don't want to
Do
dare do
not
that.
mess with her. Follow her. Do not mess with her.
Here we go. Year 1997 has 365 days. 9th February 1997 is a Sunday. 105, quiet. I was born into loudness. My eyes red, yellow, red. The universe excited to see me on earth, purple skin, half dead. You will not love her. Deaf houses in them, tired pianos. I step on newborn grass. Let my hair die on your maddened white. You will not love her. This burnt fairy tale was written on torn knuckles, borne down on unearthed silence. But right here is the sheer collapse of quiet. Blood on the beach. We set foot on translucent rage. History. I don't know where to go from here. I covered you with blind care, taken under thickened, sought pain, earned a lifetime of misery. How could you regret what we made? Perhaps Chopin knew you best. The clock falters over 105. Half of you swears it would have been a dream to have died at 8. I walk over these moving ships of perjury, breathing gray lines into our days. We're not clean cut. Nevertheless, here's to never being found. I think I may have left her too soon. Hollowed forevermore under fluorescent despair, everything around me aged and aged. But I have loved you. We're alive, and I have mourned you. We're long dead. So give up, just for tonight. Surrender all to this livid sky. You've never wanted this. Lena, first comment, it's finished. It's a complete poem. You don't need to change it.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like a knot in my stomach from that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I love this burnt fairy tale was written on torn knuckles, borne down on unearthed silence. Like that line is unbelievable.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love this. I love poems like this because they stick with you.
Yeah, because it leaves you to fill in the holes. There are gaps in the story, but that's the point. The point is it's like it punches you in the gut. I love that. I'd like every thought, every image punches you in the gut. The pauses, the structure, but it's beautiful.
And then one more time, towards the end, where it's talking about just for one more night, one more. I don't know exactly how she's wording it, but she's just saying, "This is what we were
So
supposed
give
to
up, just for tonight. Surrender all to this living sky."
surrender to me." Yeah, yeah.
And then it ends with, "You never wanted this." It's amazing. It's like the other side of the last one we heard, where she's telling herself not to do the thing, and she's done the thing, and like now she's feeling guilty but enjoying it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and
It's storyline.
it's the repercussions of what happened to the other person on the other side.
Yeah,
That's
like the
sacrifice.
whole story here. Yeah,
Yeah. That,
amazing.
you don't think about that kind of stuff until, and then you destroy marriages and your children.
You're
And
so negative. It could be fun.
I mean, it is fun. It's all fun until
As my
something goes
as my
down.
mom used to as my mom used to say, it's all fun and games until someone gets an eye poked out.
Oh, I mean, I can't. Stand by. Stand by. I'm getting my mind out of the gutter. One moment.
Hey, out of the gutter, out of the gutter. It was a beautiful song, beautiful story.
I'm back. I'm back. Really, I love how I'm so glad that I let you go first. It's almost like destiny, because that poem that I just read and then you reading this afterwards was perfect. That was a beautiful poem. I loved it.
I'm glad you let me go first too. That doesn't normally happen.
I know. I'm nice. I mean, sometimes I'm
I
nice.
didn't. Yeah. Anyways, I went right to the gutter and came back out again. You didn't even notice. You blinked and it went. See, look, you're just too innocent. That shows you're just thinking about your dress. Dude, that smile tells me you just caught up with me as well. What was a real blush? Look at that. That's a real blush.
I know, and I have on 8 pounds of makeup in this gown. So for those of you joining, I had a photo shoot today. Everyone's probably heard this 3,000. Like, who cares? But I still have on the dress because I didn't have time to change, and I had to stand in the lake, so the whole bottom of my velvet dress is wet. That's how much I love you guys. I'm here,
It's
wet
not
here.
because you're excited.
Right? Yeah, right. Wait,
Go on. Sorry, I'll clean it up.
we're straight now.
Mm, a little bit. I'm not going to go there. Sorry.
Yeah. So, words within wind is said, explore all sides of each emotion, and that's very true. Of what we just read, you're kind of seeing this from all the different points of view. The problem is that we are in the middle of that. You don't see anybody's point of view but your own.
It's true, and even that you don't see until afterwards.
No, when you regret it, because
Mm.
like the last poem said, run, go, leave it be. Don't even start. It's gonna hurt. Self-inflicted pain. Very good point.
It's a
Okay,
beautiful thing.
it's my turn. It's my turn
I'll
now.
let you go next.
Oh, thanks. You're so nice.
I know. Normally, I'd let you go first, but
I know, but girls don't always have to go first.
oh, they do. Because
No,
they're a lot more work, and guys fall asleep afterwards. We're going to move on to the next poem.
no. Now listen. Sometimes it's okay for the guy to go first because I didn't have my point pulled up.
Okay, there you go.
You saved me. Don't be so negative.
I was being unclean. You were being all innocent. So it's the princess dress. It makes you innocent.
Oh,
It's on your head.
oh, there we go. Okay, so this we digress. I don't know how that happened.
Mm.
Okay, so this next. I know. Sorry.
You have a bad effect on me.
Okay, so this next poet, her tag is Katrina Ann Poetry, and she writes, "I am but a restless soul planted inside of a body that will never feel full." I can relate to that.
Can you read that again?
Yes, absolutely. She writes, "I am but a restless soul planted inside of a body that will never feel full."
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, right there. I'm in love. I'm in love with Katrina, and I just read a sentence. Jesus, I can't imagine. Yeah, she has a very nice page. I always like seeing nice pages.
What's her tag? At Katrina.
Yes, Katrina Ann, and it's ANNE Poetry.
Katrina Ann Poetry. Got it.
Yep. Okay, so I cannot pronounce this word. I'm gonna apologize up front, Katrina. I'm gonna butcher this word. Butcher it. My lungs sip on chamomile tea.
Chamomile.
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 What
Chamomile.
is it? Chamomile?
Chamomile. Chamomile.
Chamomile. Okay. My lungs sip on chamomile tea. As my mind breathes in chaos, my being, a walking contradiction, consistency, inconsistent with the way the world sways, between the highs and the lows, for I feel both, an equilibrium of silent screams and echoing elation, elevating me to the world's unknown, alleviating me of pains unspoken. The light and the dark holds me captive in a state of empathy. I have goosebumps. I have absolute goosebumps.
I'd like to hear that again,
Yeah, let's do. My
please.
lung, yeah, absolutely. My lungs sip on chamomile tea.
Chamomile.
Chamomile?
I
I'm,
am not looking at the word, but that's what it sounds like.
I'm so sorry, Katrina. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You did wonderful.
Okay, I'm going to the next line. As my mind breathes in chaos, my being, a walking contradiction, consistently inconsistent with the ways the world sways between highs and lows, for I feel both, an equilibrium of silent screams and echoing elations, elevating me to the world's unknown, alleviating me of pains unspoken. The light and the dark hold me captive in a state of empathy. So she's experiencing the highs and the lows of life, and she's empathetic to, even though the world is, this is my interpretation. So it's like we all and we all kind of go through these highs and lows through life, and we're feeling the sorrows and the happiness, and sometimes you can get lost in your own mind and
Yeah.
be negative. But she, after all of this, living life, which is what we're doing, um, she's held captive by empathy.
I think also when she talks about the dark hole or that's like a depression. That's like a parallel for depression. So it sounds a lot like she's also talking about the fact that people who feel that, you know, kind of emptiness also understand other people's pain, and therefore it creates empathy. So it's like at the event horizon of a black hole, the gravity's so strong it splits nothing into positive nothing and negative nothing. And the positive nothing has no mass, so it goes away from the black hole event horizon. And the negative nothing has mass, so it gets pulled in. So actually, the edge of the black hole creates something out of nothing. And it's kind of like what like depression or that feeling does, because you become more empathetic because you realize people are suffering and there's a common, you know, there's a
Yeah,
common tone to everything.
yeah. I mean, especially in our world with like people with mental illness, that people are not empathetic at all to that, which really makes me sad. Or to people who suffer from addiction, you know,
Yeah.
they have their own black hole and depression, absolutely. But to still be able to be a person who can be empathetic to that is actually quite rare. Stay away from narcissists. Don't do that. They see that word empathy. Want no part of that.
Personal experience notwithstanding, obviously.
Telling all my secrets.
All right, this one.
But seriously, Katrina, it was a beautiful, beautiful poem. And one last thing I would love to say about Katrina is I really appreciate someone who can use so few words and scream so much truth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she
I agree.
basically put in a few lines what it takes novels to try to write about. I love
Totally agree.
love this. Empathy is so beautiful. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love narcissists. So if I say something negative, I take it back. I really do. I do have empathy for them too. It'd be sad to live a world where you couldn't feel what love and emotions are.
So This narcissist is going to read the next poem.
I'm
I'm great.
teasing.
I'm fantastic. I know you didn't mean me. I was taking the piss. Which is
That's
one of my favorite English sayings, taking the piss, which means teasing.
I was teasing. I was.
No, that's what I'm saying. Taking the piss. I'm teasing you back.
Ah.
Ooh, ferocious. Okay, sorry. Rainbow Gray. This is called Rhyming Time. So, Rainbow Gray, this is the text alongside the poem. My round two submission for poetry battles. This first quote on the slide is often attributed to Twain. I'm guessing Mark Twain, or Michael Twain, his less known brother, but is arguably a misquote. It appears in a said poem by John Robert Colombo, not the one Peter Falk played. Whoever said it, I like it and see the truth in it, that along with others were part of my inspiration here. Echolalia, noun, psychiatry, meaningless repetition of another person's spoken word is a symptom of psychiatric disorder. Number two, repetition of speech by a child learning to talk. The line echolalic rhetoric is attempting to convey the idea that many things said cleverly with the aim to hit nerves and rile masses have usually been said before in one form or another and are only twisted to suit the moment. Think politics or in the extreme Hitler. The use of twain is both a nod to Twain and the archaic term of two, using one and two to mean the personal and collective. One and two being the different ways of defining echolalia, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. Striving better line, again double. Whilst manacles have been used for this literally in the forms of slavery, etc., I also mean figuratively in a stepping on heads, rich getting richer, or bound by society, way, corporate, socioeconomic, minorities, or sexual equality, etc. Civil is meant as courteous and polite, but referencing civil war, which ties to the past transgression vestige. And the elastic line, civil wars tend to reoccur in Northern Ireland, Palestine. Because a resolution is never properly found, I've rambled enough, but history is important to know to identify clues and cues, to stop atrocities from happening again, such as the Holocaust, which no one realized was happening at the time. And don't let the existential dread get you down. We all just have to keep trying to do better. It's all we can do personally and collectively. Okay, this is called Rhyming Time. Caught in a refrain, or a rhyming game, as history tends to repeat itself, erstwhile laments creep and descend, flowing languid but persistent. Existential dread is pervading heads with causality of emptiness. Despondency dwells in drear minds, undefined, caught in a refrain or a rhyming game, as history tends to repeat itself. Epilalic rhetoric wears masks of new novel logic. New novel logic. What once was will again. So let me start again. Echolalic rhetoric wears mask of new novel logic. What once was will again. Sometimes we're helpless to stop it. Striving better ties fetters, maniacal manacle loop, and paradoxical schisms means no wars are civil. Echolalic rhetoric wears mask of new novel logic. Things tethered by elastic snap back to the drastic. Whether singular or twain, the philosophy's the same. Irrationality makes a replay of mistakes as natures are base and perceptions get skewed. Things tethered by elastic snap back to the drastic. Thoughts, feelings, and actions are rarely new fashioned, caught in a refrain or a rhyming game, as the history tends to repeat itself. Harsh dictatorships breed from revolutionary need. Echolalic rhetoric wears masks of new novel logic. Past transgressions vestige, sprung from where it rested. Things tethered by elastic snap back to the drastic. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. This is from Mark Twain. A favorite theory of mine is that no occurrence is sole and solitary, but is merely a repetition of a thing that has happened before and perhaps often. And a quote from George Santayana, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I like this a lot. I like the alliteration. I like the repetition of the different lines, and I like the fact that the opening and closing line of each stanza before ends up rolled into the final stanza. I think it's clever, but in an intelligent way, not clever for the sake of being clever. I like it a lot.
I loved it. I love the last line.
Things tethered by elastic snap back to the drastic. I like it too. It's great alliteration.
The tie back thing
Fantastic.
is brilliant.
That is.
It's like, yeah,
Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Rainbow Gray.
absolutely. Good.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah. Good one. Very good. Okay, so we're running a little short on time, and so I'm gonna ask Twinks. I think we can go another 30 minutes. Everyone just has to log back in. Twinks, I don't know how long you can stay, but we're at
I
5:50.
can do another 30 minutes.
Okay, so if when this ends, we'll come right back. Just please definitely log back in. Okay, so the next one for me to read is words dot for the soul, and it says, in the moment you realize you are enough, simply as you are. The heavens will rejoice, the sun will embrace the moon, the seasons will stop, and it will be spring on earth for eternity. Love that. I love it. I love it because it's it is so true. We all need to realize that we are enough, exactly as we are. And it's like in on earth it will be spring, everything blooms and is beautiful and is fresh again when you start believing and appreciating yourself.
I agree totally. And self-care is so important. And it's more about self-awareness and realizing we shouldn't pick on ourselves. It's too easy to do.
Yeah, we are really mean to ourselves, absolutely, and shouldn't be, shouldn't
And I
be.
agree.
Nice, very nice. Okay.
My next poem is by Katie Quixotic. So Casey Quixotic, you should check her out. Wrote next to her poem. Well, she wrote something recently next to her poem. Yeah, it's basically when you realize 2 days later that you left a word out of your own poem repost. So this is a repost of a poem, um, and I believe it's called Part the Sea because that's one of the hashtags. Although I can't see a title on it, I'm going to assume that, and I hope I haven't hacked it. Sorry, Casey. Um, so here we go. Ebon water parts the sea, a fresh winter white. A lone downy swan circles the smooth obsidian surface. There is safety in this solitude, and peacefulness, basking in the soft silence of the newly fallen snow. I imagine myself, Alida, enthralled by the beauty and tranquility of this winterscape. But Alida was enraptured by an illusion, as am I, at the foot of this frigid oasis, the cold having quickly grown wearisome to my mortal flesh, and the chaos of life only allowing for short temporal pauses. I walk away toward warmth and comfort, yet still somewhat envious of that serene avatar of divinity.
That's beautiful.
It's like meditation, the rhythm and the words and it's like rhythmic breathing, like circular breathing where you meditate with it.
Yeah.
Ebon water parts the sea, a fresh winter white, a lone dawny swan circles the smooth obsidian surface. There is safety in this solitude. That just bore into me. It was amazing. It
Oh
just
yeah.
drilled right in. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. That was so beautiful. Okay. Okay, we're at 5:55. So I'm gonna read this next one. It's not very long. It's by Can Hardly Speak, and it is that's the name of the tag for the
I
poets.
thought it was the effect I had on you.
It is. That's why I'm running late.
Got
No,
y'all excited.
no. You know what? The poems have been so good tonight. It's hard not to talk about them for so long.
Oh wait, it's not my effect on you. Okay, fine.
No, I mean it is that too. That's doubling the problem. All right, let me read this.
Go on, read.
This one's really, really good. Okay, so again, can hardly speak. You push it away, and it goes away until it comes back. There it is again, that feeling like you're a well filling up with water about to pour over, but for some reason you can't. For now, there is no release, no relief, and you realize that this feeling, heartbreak, is going to stick around for a while. I, I'm. Y'all are so good. I mean, that just touches you so deeply.
I didn't want to ruin the moment with whatever just popped into my head when you said that. But we're just going to skip right by what I was thinking, and we'll go back to. Can you read it again?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got a couple minutes. Let's read this again, and then when we log
Read,
out,
read, read it again,
we'll
please.
log back in. Okay, so here it goes. You push it away, and it goes away until it comes back. There it is again. That feeling like you're a well, filling up with water, about to pour over, but for some reason, you can't. For now, there is no release, no relief, and you realize that this feeling, heartbreak, is going to stick around for a while.
Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah.
It leaves you kind of hanging over the edge. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But you push them away, these thoughts, and they come back again. And it's like you realize like you're going to have to go through this. It's not going away.
Yeah.
Excellent. Love that. Okay, we're at 5:58. So I am going to the next one is pretty long, or is it? I don't
My
know.
next one's very short. My next one's very short.
Okay, go.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to rush it, so we can run over if we can. But anyway, so this is Rupert. This is Rupert Poet, and it's just a little fun, according to Rupert Poet.
I like
Let's infuriate a gust that has its own mind, then win it back after reminding it we had hastened ourselves by simply thinking of it. I'm going to read that again.
it. Yes.
Let's infuriate a gust that has its own mind, then win it back after reminding it we had hastened ourselves by simply thinking of it. Love it, man. Mike, that's awesome. That's really cool.
That is
Really
awesome.
enjoyed that.
And we can talk about it a little bit when we get back.
Yes, definitely.
We'll be right back. And
After these messages.
y'all cross your fingers because I got to save this thing. Last time I flunked.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I got
Just
this.
dispatch your eyes at the computer. It'll do whatever you want to do.
I wish that
Yeah.
would happen in life. I wish that's the way it was.
See you in a minute.
Okay. I'm just gonna let the time run out because then it's supposed to automatically.
That was an awkward moment of me thinking you were hanging up on me.
I would never do that. I mean,
Oh.
I've known you for like 4 months, and I've never done that once.
Oh, you're making me blush now.
Oh, you know what? Look, it didn't kick me off.
Okay, let's keep on going then.
Okay, if it does kick us off, we're going to be back. Okay, so one more time, read that one. Read it again, because I want to talk about it.
This is Mike Rupert, and as far as he said, it's just a little fun. Just a little fun, not lots of fun, just a little fun. Let's infuriate a gust that has its own mind, then win it back after reminding it we had hastened ourselves by simply thinking of it. It's like cloud busting, basically. It's thinking about wind, and it's putting that personification on technically what's nothing, because a gust is just air, it's wind. So personifying, putting that human element onto wind, which is nothing, and giving it its own mind and emotions because it's furious. It's great, and it's playful because it's saying, let's infuriate a gust, let's go play with the wind. I really like it.
Brilliant piece. Again, few words, screams a novel.
I also like the fact that it's a bit like sailing, because basically, obviously, if you catch the wind right, you move faster, and it talks about we had hastened ourselves by simply thinking of it. So it's really interesting. It's a very, very well written poem. I'm impressed. And Mike, good job.
Excellent job. Excellent. Okay. Hey everyone. Sorry about that. And I think I got it saved this time. I was so disappointed when I missed it last time. So there you are. We're gonna read yours, I promise. I'm so sorry we've ran over. Let's wait for Emerson real quick, and then we will start reading again. The poems were so good tonight, so much good conversation. I hate to rush through them. Okay, here we go, Emerson. Okay, what the heck? There we go. Okay, now Emerson, I called you in. Do not reject me.
Push
Oh,
the wrong.
wait. Oh my gosh. I was like, it's been 3 minutes. I can't believe you didn't like suffer missing me.
I did. My heart was breaking, and I got so excited when you said join. I pushed the wrong button and hung up on you instead. I was my overexcited poker. I mean finger.
There we go again. There's start off the new live right there. So I was just saying to everyone, I hate running out of time because it's like you want to talk about these poems because they're so well done and they
Hmm.
deserve all the attention because they're just beautiful pieces and you hate to not talk, give them their full attention. So
Agreed.
so Emerson, thank you for going for another 30 minutes here.
Oh,
um,
I could go all night for you.
ah oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna call you.
Yeah, you can call me anytime.
You got it. Hey Twinks, I hope I saved it. I have my fingers and my toes
Your
crossed.
fingers and your toes, what?
Crossed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it looks like we're getting people to log back in here. There was, hang on, let me scroll back up here real quick. It's just zooming me in and out. Stop
Yeah,
that.
it is.
Don't you? Hello, goodbye, hello. Okay, all right. Let's keep reading. What's the next one that you have? I've got Word Mermaid. I've got to read. But what's the next one that you're going to read?
I have the feature guy
Okay, and then I have
with the
my
name of with the name of an angel.
okay, and I've got my feature. So we're not. If I just got a message, someone thought we forgot them. We would never forget you, not on purpose. We're not spring chickens, so it could happen, but we would never do
Yeah,
it.
our ages put together make us very old.
I know. I mean, we're working great here, considering. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this next poem by Word Mermaid, and it says, the sky today is
This, by the way, before you get any further, this is suitable because your top's dry and your bottom's wet.
what's that?
This is the mermaid thing because you gotta, your feet are wet and your head's dry. You see, you're a mermaid. Eh?
It's so true.
You
So
are the mermaid.
you're right. I don't know if I want to wear this wet dress anymore. It's not fun.
That's not a quote you want to be recorded on Instagram Live forever.
Okay. I know. Damn, I saw it down there in the notes. You're right. Blind moments. Here we go again. Get out of the gutter. Okay. So again, this is by Word Mermaid. The sky today is curdled milk, and the sun is on vacation, diving in the buttermilk. Dawn seems to be prisoned behind the silver gates of heaven. I suppose, if the gods know, I wake up early to feast upon the morning's golden antidote. I woke up early to ask the mist whether the cotton is its grounded brother. I woke up early because emptiness gave me fuller answers than hollow people.
Wow. Can you read the last three lines again, please?
I'm going to start right here. It says, I suppose if the gods knew, I woke up early to feast upon the morning's golden antidote. I woke up early to ask the mist whether cotton is its grounded brother. I woke up early because emptiness gave me fuller answers than hollow people.
Emptiness gave me fuller answers than hollow people. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
It's like, that the day before is not a good day. And it's like their sunshine's been on vacation for too long. And they just want to wake up and it not be that way.
But it's also the parallels, the clouds and the cotton being their grounded cousins or grounded, family. I think it's a beautiful imagery, and the fact that emptiness is being alone and empty is better than being around hollow people. I know exactly. It's like being in a crowd and feeling alone. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And that saying, you're amongst a million people and you feel absolutely nothing. Yep. It's very well written. And I love the words she uses. The curled milk and cotton being grounded, being the grounded brother. I love the way she used that in her poem. I really
That's
like it.
beautiful imagery.
So good job, Word Mermaid. If you're not following, please do. She's great.
I will
Okay.
do.
All right.
So this is Azrael Writer.
I love him.
He looks like like there's a picture of him with this poem which is called The X Factor, and the picture is of him holding up a notebook with the writing on it, and he's holding up the notebook like this, and it's got like handwriting on it, and I thought that was what I was supposed to read, and I was like, I was really hoping the resolution was good enough, but luckily it's in the comments section. Now the only problem, the only challenge I have here is he's been artistic with the structuring. So if I stumble, I apologize, and I will have to go back and do it over again. So the X Factor. This is Azrael Writer. My reality blurs. Without boundaries, I am boundless. Without limits, it's why I walk among you godlike, sifting in and out of dimensions. Messianically, I am on another plane of existence. Oh, I am Adonai, which is God in Hebrew. Another plane of existence. Worship me. The man figmented, imaginary in the mirror, insecure, labeled, narcissistic by egotistical critics who can't comprehend the meaning of mastermind, but the first to copycat what's mine and make mockery of my genius. Chimpanzees with fire, ignorant, deny it. And I'll call you all liars for the entertainment of our shared audience. Treasonous applause. We don't need fake lips or tits in Camp Azrael to drive traffic. I don't need fake features from the cool kids group. Come on, cool kids. You know who you are. Take a bow. Your continued exclusion of me confirms you're all fake and can't acknowledge talent lest it bruise your egos. I, however, do enjoy watching this team of you try to compete with my ideas and fall short. It makes for a good laugh over a fine meal. Azrael, I'll send you an autographed hat. I slept in a jail cell in my own vomit. Steal that from me and tell me how it's your idea.
Mm.
It's amazing.
I'm letting that soak in. It's like, people want boundaries. And it's a little painful too.
Well, it's angry. It's angry. It goes from, it feels like a self, disemboweling yourself to kind of stepping into Trump's shoes, but then coming back and going X Factor and then taking a left-hand turn and getting angry. And it's really, really well written. I really like it, Azrael. Very, very cool.
Yeah, you're right. It's like it starts off almost innocent, and then life is hardened, and
But also self-deprecating, calling himself narcissistic. It's quite good.
yes, yes,
I like the challenge at the end where he says, "I slept in a jail cell in my own vomit. Steal that from me and tell me how it's your idea." I love that. It's like and like in the hashtags, it's like a big fuck you. It's quite cool.
It is. It's like you wanted to steal my sunshine all
Here,
along.
have some vomit.
There you go.
I
Here's
like it a lot.
some
It's really
good
cool.
old barf.
Exactly. Very cool.
He's quite. He's such a brilliant writer.
I also like the fact that it it's kind of it feels like an internal conversation, right?
Yes.
My reality blurs on boundaries, on balance, on limits. It's why I walk among you, godlike, sifting out dimensions messianically. And it's the random fragmentation that like our mind kind of does with thoughts and ideas, where they kind of just pass each other. And it's like he's kind of grabbed these passing randomness and put them together into a poem, and it's quite cool. And also the way it's formatted is very cool.
Yes. 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 Yeah. It is almost like he is like his own little secret of the big F you back to the world.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it.
Great job.
Wonderful poem, Ezra.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. So this is my last one. This is also a feature for tonight, and it is by the underscore real underscore sir dot real underscore poet. We will put that at the end. So that's a lot of underscores there, but I like it.
Pleasure, Ezra. Really good poem. The
Yeah.
real sir dot real poet.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. It says, well, the poetry is grabbing me, forcing me to speak with urgency as it takes a hold of me, strangle thoughts like metaphorically disjointed formula of ideas, come streaming like torrential pourings, building puzzles and fitting pieces as it comes to me, tipping over analogies, I'm so sorry, to try to convey how it feels to me, how it sits with me, strengthens my bones as it invades the whole of me. Running on a full tank of inspiration, you see. Put foot flat and let it take me to where I want to be. Slaying minds of flat earth thinking that comes close to me, like Samson with a donkey jawbone of poise, armed with the word, I push down the pillars of ignorance, carrying small-minded people like Philistines. I seek and destroy negativity in and around my direct vicinity. Old soul, not a new kid on the block of poetry. No, I'm not done here. I had to print this out because it's really small to read. Okay, I think this is the next page. Yes. Okay. Um, Forcing me to speak with. No, it's the same thing. What the heck? I think I've gotten it out of order. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's okay. Well, how about this? How about you order that? I'll read one of mine.
Please
I'll
do.
save you.
Save me again. Thank you so much.
I'm coming in on my steed, my trusty steed.
This is why I love you.
I know, I know. Love you too. I love you because you look a bit like Michelle Pfeiffer. But we're gonna go back to. I went there, right? Okay, you organize your paperwork. I'll read one of mine. I wrote this earlier this week, so I've
Okay.
not read it anywhere else. This is the first time I've read it out loud. And we've just lost her entirely. I'm looking at her
No,
ceiling.
no. Ooh, what a terrible. No, hold on a second.
That's a very excited. I don't know what. Oh,
Hold on.
that's your lantern.
Okay.
Oh, there you
All
are.
right. All right, hold on. I want to minimize so I can find this because I don't have it. Hey,
All
Twinks,
right.
Twinks, will you tag it for us at the bottom so I can find it?
While you look that up, I'm gonna read this.
Yes.
Twinks, did you hear? Twinks is
Twinks, save me! I don't want to
we're
mess this up because this is so good, but it was so small to read because it was in the comments, and so I printed it, and now I can't find it, but Go ahead.
I'll let you look for it, and then I'll read this, and then we can. It gives you time. I'll read it slowly.
Read it with passion.
So this is called Sparkly Gray Matter, and I wrote it earlier this week. Old wounds taste like wine, threaded gutters dissolved in time, offered back up as we tip the scales, the reason that all life prevails. No ghost of what was not to be, just plain old you and simple me. Our hearts entwined or thought we knew, life's coolest trick, truth, does come through. And from the ashes we both will rise, so close yet forever otherwise. It's always better, let sleeping gods lie, the mystical kiss, our last goodbye. And so it is, my heart regrown, the steps I hear will be my own, neither shrunk with pill, nor grown much fatter, just skimming along on sparkly gray matter.
That was beautiful. I've almost got it. I have almost got it.
It's okay. I just
Okay.
like looking at your profile.
I, I'm trying to find it on this page because it was 911. Darn it! I feel so terrible. I'm gonna find this. Twinks, can you put up the name of the poem on here so I can find it faster, or tell me where it's at on the page? Like how far down? Because I'm missing it. I remember what the front of it looked like, but I cannot find it to save my life. This one's
Michelle's blue eyes.
green.
They're green. I'm colorblind. It's okay. Michelle's blue eyes.
Yes, right now it's terrible. I really hate this. It makes me feel so bad. I should have had it pulled up. Twinks, you got it? Save me.
I'm just making you sit in silence. Everyone's staring at you, going, "What are you doing?"
Don't bring her back. Please, Jesus, don't bring her back. She's terrible. That's what they're thinking. It's terrible.
No, if they're thinking what I'm thinking, it's not about any of that.
Oh, well, I hope that's not like me. And I'm so sorry to this poet because he actually thought we forgot about him when because we hadn't read it yet when we went.
Twink says, "Can you open in DM?"
Let me see. I'm on my phone, and this is the problem. I'm on his page.
Yeah, you can't open DM online on the web page.
I can't. Yes, I can't get to it. So I need like if someone can tell me like where, Twink, if you can, where on the page. Because I'm scrolling through here, is a lot on this page. I got it. I found it.
You got it. Okay.
Good Lord. Okay, now comments.
It was worth it watching you get flushed.
I know. I really feel bad. I really do.
That didn't look like feeling bad.
I'll work harder. Okay.
I didn't mean it that way. You're being too clean-minded.
Right. I'm trying to stay out the gutter. Okay. So this one is called 911. What is your emergency? Well, the poetry is grabbing me, forcing me to speak of urgency as it takes a hold of me, strangled thoughts like metaphorically. Disjointed formula of ideas come steaming like torrential pourings, building puzzles and fitting pieces as it comes to me, tripping over analogies to try to convey how it feels to me, how it sits with me. It strengthens my bones as it invades the whole of me. Running on a full tank of inspiration, you see. Push foot flat and let it take me to where I want to be. Slaying minds of flat earth thinking that comes close to me, like Samson with a donkey jawbone of poise. Armed with the word I push down the pillars of ignorance. Carrying small-minded people like Palestines, I seek and destroy negativity in and around my direct vicinity. Old soul, not a new kid on the block poetry. A Salvador dahlia of word art. I'm not a Bieber believer of Simple Simon says vanilla lines of blah, blah, blah. These are one direction to the top, you see, and I'm not a boy or girl band groupie of poetics, but a multilingual, fluent translator of sounds, phonetics, declaring martial law in a state of emergency. As dilution of purity becomes a viral epidemic, attention, all units, and pass the mic to me to deliver my message with transparency, full disclosure of my skills, you see. I transform sentences like Autobots into imagery, lay it down inside your mind soft and delicately as I study the optics of effects, as it spreads digitally, globally, as my word chemistry travels via satellite and through server rooms to you to read. I connect my thoughts to yours. Psych, psych, I can't pronounce the word.
Psychically?
Yes, thank you. Extrasensory perception, fiber optical conduits of energy lines, undisputed, not convoluted, heavy, lightweight in tongue, and verbal triathlons, flying out of the corner of the ring, and let my poetry sing. Let sopranos glass breakers, like like soprano glass breakers, my spidey senses feel boggy at my 12 o'clock as I block with light shield of positive thinking and kick sense into sheeple people who want to pull me down into the depths of quicksand sinking. Welcome to my temple of doom. The naysayer, gossip girls, and smack talk players.
I like that. Lots of music references, like Rainbow Grace said. Lots of movie references as well. I think there's some video games, and there were kind of a crossover, and it was I could hear the rhythm in there. It was a lot like it wasn't like a rap battle, but it's kind of like a lot of spoken word artists when they get up, they deliver in a way which is kind of it's a rolling rhythm, and it was
Yeah,
a very similar rolling rhythm where it's kind of like coming back on itself, and it's like an eddy. Like when the river's going down, when water's going downstream, it catches in little eddies and spins around for a while, and then comes back out. And they mixed in technology and music and movies, as Rainbow Grace said, and it was really really cool. I
yeah.
liked it.
And for me, I got from this is like, I'm tired of the technology being the voice and making the words. What happened to authenticity? Like when you really hear an artist that reads and you can feel it in their bones when it comes out of there, or you watch an artist play a musician play the electric guitar and their whole body moves, the violin, the piano.
So true, yeah.
That's the real stuff. That's the real stuff.
So true.
That was great.
That was wonderful.
I stumbled over some words.
It's okay. Anyone would have.
I'm so sorry, but this is so
It
amazing,
was,
and
it was a pleasure staring at you while you were reading it.
I tried to give it my all because I was such a slacker. Ugh, this
Well,
is
we'll
so
talk about
good.
we'll talk about that later and how you're going to make up for it.
Okay, yes, but I'm not supposed to be telling people about this. I mean, I already tag you. I'm like, look.
Sorry.
Okay. I have enjoyed this evening. I don't know about you, but
Me too.
I love this gig. I
Me too.
and I love reading real poetry because I mean just as we're saying here, it's like you read so much shallow stuff sometimes, and you want to feel that depth. And for a poet to be able to write at those depths is such a huge gift.
It is very true. Poetry gives me the chills.
It's so sorry.
I was just
It
saying, I like.
really does. You see posts out there that get like a bazillion likes, and there's a place for those, and I'm not at all discounting those. But sometimes it's like the ones that are a little bit longer have that depth. They don't get quite the likes, but those are the ones I love the best. The journeys.
Yeah,
I
totally
love it.
agree with you.
I love it. And I want to thank everyone for hanging in here with us.
Thanks,
You know,
Twinks,
yes, and
Henning, Hart, and everyone else.
Yes, thank you for everyone that logged in. Thank you, Twinks. Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you, Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, sorry.
I love it. I love it. I love you, Emerson. Really
I love you too.
love you. And so I'm gonna let this go until it ends because I'm gonna hit the end button and then it's gonna let me save because I really hope that this gets out there so people can rewatch it. This is awesome stuff. We'll see you back here next Sunday at 5 o'clock, and I'm hoping that Emerson's gonna be here.
I should be. I should be.
Yes, makes such a
But
great team.
you might have to make it worth my while.
I got you covered. Don't you worry. I can clean my
just,
gutters
just,
out before you.
just your presence is enough.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Great time tonight, and so Emerson and I will see you back here Sunday at 5, and I will be prepared. How about that? It's a good deal.
And
Good
I'll
night.
be unprepared just to balance it out.
My night. That's right. See, I have to do that so you can ride your horse. This is for you.
Now you're getting kinky.
I know. Okay. All right. I'm going to end. Good night, everyone. I love
Good
you
night.
all. Bye-bye.
Bye. I think you're still live.
No, you know what? I'm terrified because when I say it's like, do you want to end video? We're back. And I don't want to lose this. So Twinks, if you're still here, you're hilarious. So Twinks, if I hit the end, you're hilarious. I can't think. Will it also give me a chance to save? Twinks is probably already hung up on us. I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. If it doesn't save, I will reread this and post it out. How's that?
Deal.
All right. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna do it. Bye, y'all.
Bye.